This is why we have a hard time, like, realizing what is noise and what is not, is because we desire the irrelevant or meaningless data as much as real information as anybody else. That's why we get in the social media forums that we do. That's why we go to the church that we go to. That's why we get in the social circles that we do. That's why we belong to these political parties or go to these rallies or watch the news station that tells us what we want to hear. Because we really don't want meaningful information anymore. We've become okay with the information we receive, whether it's meaningless or irrelevant, it's the way we want it. It's kind of like the food we eat. How many times do we see all these studies that tell you the colors in our food, the dyes, and all these things are bad for you and it's affecting your food? But at some point, I just want a bowl of Fruit Loops. Yeah, whatever. It's just a bowl of Fruit Loops. Yeah, that's kind of where we stand in our political parties. A lot of it's just a bowl of Fruit Loops. There is so much dyes, so much stuff to make it look good, taste good, smell good, but it's not good. There is so much meaningless data, relevant messages in with desired information that we don't know how to dissect the two from another. I'm going to talk to the church for a minute. I'm a pastor, so give me a moment. You can just kind of sit on the sidelines like, oh, this is a church thing, but I want to hear what he says because I need to know. See, in the church, we need to understand what's meaningless information and what's meaningful. We've gotten so distracted and drawn in by meaningless information about our identity, who we are. We have people who don't know us telling us who we are, including sometimes the person in the mirror, instead of going to this God that we believe in, that's trying to tell us who we are, that's trying to show us who we were made to be. But then even in that meaningful definition, you get around a bunch of people where God's trying to tell you who you are and a bunch of people yelling at you for who you are. Even the right message can get messed up and become noise because of the way it's being delivered. See, I believe this is what's wrong in the churches. I don't have to stand up and yell about anything. Just a few years back, this statement came to me in a time of prayer, and it was that it is time for the church to stop standing up and showing out. See, that's noise 101, is when someone stands up and just shows out. That's what's happening all around us. But this was a statement that come to me. It's time for the church to stop standing up and show out. And instead, it's time for them to show up and stand out. Because you don't have to make any noise when who you are is genuine. When the way you do business is genuine. When the way you love your family is genuine. When the way you even misstep or do something wrong is genuine. The way you can say, I don't know, or I'm sorry, in a moment when you get it wrong. See, because even the good things become noise when they're not really genuine. I'll share the scripture with you and we'll wrap up. In 1 Corinthians 13, this really is what many call as the love chapter. And right in the very beginning, it says, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. See, it's very important to understand in this, what is it saying? The very same thing that's spoken, if without love, goes from valuable to noisy. Goes from valuable to clangy. You can say the same thing, but if there is no love connected to it, see, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. If more people could focus on the how, because if a person's not yelling and throwing your face, screaming at you, and they're just presenting the facts, that along the way you'll realize what's pertinent information and what's not. What's valuable and what needs to be thrown away. Take out the snide remarks, the pointed jabs, and say, what am I really listening to?